Hello, everybody. Welcome to the We Are Vexed podcast, episode 2. We're glad to have you guys today. Today, we have a special featured guest. He goes by the name of Kid Kil0. He's a rapper, so make sure you go check out his music. And I've known this guy since middle school. He keeps it real as fuck. So I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy this episode, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. I'm gonna stop talking, so go ahead and I'm gonna let him introduce
Kilo,
himself to you guys.
Kilo, hello. My name is Kid Kilo. I've been posting music for like over a year now on SoundCloud and all other platforms. I've been doing that for a while now. I've been having a good time doing it. It's been going up slowly but surely. Haven't done any of my own personal concerts yet. I've done a performance before, like at an open mic, but never like a actual concert. But I have had a lot of music posted. It's been a great time. I've collabed with quite a few artists, local artists, of course. Um, Talked to a couple producers on from YouTube and shit, like outside of the country. Gotten plays outside of the country. It's been pretty fun.
And I'm not gonna lie. He's made a big improvement in his music. He started this shit probably about 2 years ago now. I think it was when he posted his first track, and he's made a lot of progress. So I'm really proud of him. His new music, I've been bumping it every day. I swear, left hand on the Bible, I do. It's good. It's good music. So definitely go check it out. Go check out his newest track, "Go"
Yeah,
by Kid Kilo.
hell yeah, bro. I appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah, go check out Go. Posted it like about a week ago. It's actually only on SoundCloud right now. It'll be on all platforms soon, like most of my other music. But yeah, go check me out, Kid Kilo, KIDKIL0. Um, yeah, you won't regret it.
Yeah. All right. Enough of the intros. It was a great intro, and I appreciate you coming out to my house today to do this podcast with
Of
me.
course, of course.
It's good to have you, bro. It's good to see you again. We're gonna start off with a couple of. I'm gonna this is basically gonna be sort of an interview, but naturalistic, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you some questions, and we're just gonna get deep into your life story, get deep into the conspiracies, and deep into mental health and spiritualism. Uh,
Okay.
so the first question I have to ask you is, just tell me about your life story, man. Like where did you come from? What kind of childhood did you have? Things that you struggled with, mental health issues, and ways you've like improved your mental health and your spiritualism just in general. Like,
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, my life story, like, obviously, you're not born into this world fully aware. Like, it's just like out of nowhere, one day you're like 4 years old, you just like gain consciousness. You're like, oh shit, I'm alive. But, anyways, I don't really have any memories of my parents being together. They've been divorced since I was like 5 years old. Um, and my dad always lived up in like kind of like the Roy area of Utah, like Roy Layton area. And then after they split, my mom, she lived down in like Riverton, Harriman area. So I've been like I spent my whole childhood kind of going back and forth between houses, not really having like parents that are together, which isn't like a big deal to me. Like it has definitely impacted my life and the way I view things, but like positively and negatively at times. Like I wouldn't say I hate it, I wouldn't say I love it. It's just part of my life. But hmm. I went to a school kind of a little far away from both houses for a while because that's where my cousins went. Um, Went to Jim Bridger Elementary. It's in like West Jordan type shit. And it was kind of like slightly in between both my parents' houses. They would both take me there. I spent a lot of like elementary school. I was going to like at least first through fourth grade. I was going to daycare before and after school to just make because like my mom would start work earlier than I start school, so she dropped me off there, and then the daycare would take me to school, and then the daycare would come pick me up after. Oh, excuse me, and take me to the daycare, and then my mom would pick me up from there. And my grandma actually worked at the daycare. She was like the boss of that place. So yeah, it was really cool like going to daycare and having her be there. And having my cousins there and stuff, meeting some friends there. That's kind of where I grew up. Is the daycare. And then hmm, honestly not too much to say about my childhood, like not too many things, not too many notable things, but
I got a question for you, bro. Thank you for sharing, by the way. Just to give us a good insight before we get onto all the deeper questions, just to give us an overview of your life. I got a quick question. I didn't grow up with divorced parents, but they've recently divorced within the last
oh,
2 years. So I'm curious. I've always asked people because I grew up with people, and most kids' parents are divorced, and I never knew what that was like, and it kind of made me feel alone, which is a weird. It's weird to hear, right? Like, oh
yeah,
damn, you got a lucky. You're lucky. Your parents are together. They're healthy. But for me, it felt like I was the outcast, right? Because everyone's parents were divorced. They got to live in
interesting.
two houses. They got two Christmases in a lot of cases.
Yeah, yeah.
Two birthdays. How was that experience like growing up with like? Give me the goods and the bads, and like what was unique compared to like someone who grew up with parents who that were together.
Well, I mean, Definitely like 2 Christmases, 2, birthdays, stuff like that. Obviously, as a kid, I enjoyed that. That was definitely a fun part of it, 2 birthdays, stuff like that. Actually, when I was younger, my parents were, like, a little bit cooler with each other, but as I've gotten older, they kinda, went their separate ways a little bit. Like, uh, they're still able to, like, tolerate each other's existence, but, like, they're not I don't know, they're not too fond of each other now. Obviously, they got divorced, but, I mean, like, yeah, so having the 2 Christmas, 2 birthdays, that was definitely a cool part. I'd say, like, having to go, like, house to house and not really having, like, a house to, like, lean back on, and being like, "Okay, this is home," and kinda just going back and forth, like, that kinda made it I don't know. It was kinda all over the place because it was never like, "Okay, this is just where you're staying." It's always like, "Alright, you gotta go here, now you gotta go here." Like, that was a I don't know how to put it, but that's definitely kinda how things were.
It kind of felt like you didn't have like a solid like home base, like
Yeah.
to set yourself out, like somewhere where that felt ultimately like that place of safety kind of deal.
Yeah, you could say that for sure.
All right, for sure.
And how do I put this? Like I would definitely like hear things from like my father or my mother about, things they didn't like about one another, and that
Mhm.
that can definitely get annoying
Yeah.
as a kid cuz like it's your parents, you love them just as much as you would if you didn't hear those things. So it's kind of hard hearing those things.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, bro. And I've seen that with people. Not to interrupt, I've seen that with other people in my childhood, like people whose parents are divorced. They always tell me like, my parents talk shit about the other one, and they're spreading rumors, and it kind of makes you like, first of all, you don't know who to believe. Second of all, you're like, I don't trust either of you now because you're spreading lies about each other to make me hate your parent. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like. I personally don't have to deal with that. My parents are divorced now, and I don't have to deal with that, which I'm blessed for that. That they split healthily. But I mean, I can see how it could build character as well. You can
Yeah.
build a fondness for both parents, and it also helps you build an understanding for when you get into your own relationships. That transfers me into the next question. If you're cool with moving on,
Yeah.
um, what is your experience with love? Like, do you believe in true love? What has your experience been
Oh
with
yeah.
relationships and love in general?
I believe in true love. Like I mean, I would say I believe in soulmates just because, like, I think personally right now I'm in a beautiful relationship. I actually been in a relationship for almost like 3 years now, which is I've loved every second of it. It's had its ups and downs, but like I genuinely think like she might be my soulmate. Like we get along very well. We have a lot of similar interests. She helps me be a better person. I help her be a better person. I definitely think we're in love. I don't know. I haven't been single for so long. Like I remember in middle school, I had a couple girlfriends. Like we'd be together for a couple months. We split up. Like rather I'd break up with them or they break up with me. And they were never too serious. And that was only back in middle school. Like I can't think of anybody who had a middle school relationship that was too serious.
Mhm.
And then I asked my girlfriend out. I think I was like 15, 16 or something. But yeah, and we've been together ever since. And it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, man, I've seen you guys, and I see how healthy you are. And to be honest, back in the day, I used to get jealous of like people like you who, and you specifically too. Like I saw you had a healthy relationship with a cool ass girl too. Like not to
Yeah,
mention she's cool as fucking general, bro.
yeah,
And
she's a very dope person.
that's truly a blessing, bro. But to go off of like what you were saying about having problems, that's completely normal, dude. Don't let that get
Yeah,
you down. Like if your relationship is not having just arguments, like not unhealthily amounts, and not ones that don't get solved, but like where you're having disagreements, and, but as long as you come back together, that's completely healthy, and it's actually required in a relationship, especially for one to last. Because if you don't have friction, the sword will never be sharpened.
yeah, you need to be able to like disagree and like have separate opinions and like I don't know, get mad at each other and be able to like make amends and calm down. Cause like I don't know, if you can't just spend your whole relationship just being happy with each other and like never getting mad at each other. That's completely unrealistic, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, bro. And I've had personal experiences where I've had relationships that were completely unhealthy the entire time, the on
Yeah,
and off kind of thing that you've probably saw me go through in high school, maybe a little bit because we weren't
yeah,
too close in high school.
not
But we
super
saw each other,
close.
but you probably saw a little bit from the outside, like what it was, and I've been through that, and it sucks. But in my recent relationships, they've been pretty healthy. They I'm not gonna say how they ended, because I've had personal problems, and everyone has these relationship problems. But I can say that I've made progress, and it's important that you're making progress. If you're struggling with a unhealthy relationship out there, and you're jealous like I was of people like or like Kid Kilo that have had that are currently in healthy relationships, don't get jealous of that, man. Like you can do it for yourself, absolutely. You think when he was like 5 years old, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in a healthy relationship with this woman at this
No.
day." He didn't know, and you don't know either. You don't know what your future holds. So just keep that hope in and work on yourself, like man or woman. Just work on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think what I have is like a 1 in a billion chance, bro. Like, what are the odds of you finding somebody that you like adore and love at such an early age and being together this long? Like, I even talk to her sometimes. I'm like, wow, babe, like it's crazy that we made it this far. Like, we got together so young. So, like, we were immature as fuck. Like, we didn't understand really fully like how a relationship works and what it needs and what goes into it. And we've kind of like figured it out together. And I think that's what's made our relationship so beautiful. And I don't know, like not I'd say it's a very uncommon like thing. I mean, of course some people marry their high school sweethearts, but like fuck, we met in middle school type shit. We were friends for like probably a year or something before we started dating, but like I haven't really heard anybody else like say that.
Yeah, that's a rare thing, dude. It's so fucking cool when you can have something like that where you can meet this person at such a young age and know nothing about love, like true what a love actually is, what a relationship actually takes, as you stated. It's cool to go from that, bro, and learn it's I think it's a lot more cool and a better experience and a story to tell, especially to your future kids. Um, it's a cooler story to tell that, oh, I met this girl when I was 30. We both already knew how to do a relationship. Like, yeah, that's cool and healthy, but like it's an even cooler like underdog story saying that you met when you didn't even know how the fuck a relationship worked in the first place.
Yeah,
That's cool.
no, I didn't know how the fuck to like be the best boyfriend. I didn't know like exactly like just all the healthy parts of a relationship, but like I don't know. I don't need to dive too deep into that and
Hmm.
too deep into my personal life.
Yep. Oh, that honestly, that takes me to my next point. My next question I have for you is have you found self-love? Like a lot of people, they think, I'm going to preface this by saying a lot of people think, I'm not like going to make pre-assumptions, but generally people think that they have found self-love, but you can read right through them and they obviously still have insecurities that hold them down in life in every aspect, in their physical, mental, spiritual, and their relationship habits. You know, it holds them down. But do you think that you've truly found self-love? And if so, how have you found that?
Like slowly but surely, there's times where I beat myself up. There's times where like I don't like myself fully. There's things I don't appreciate about myself. But like, like I try to look in the mirror, tell myself I look good. I try to tell myself I'm smart. I recognize the things that I'm good at and I tell myself that I'm good at those things. Cause like if you tell yourself anything enough, you're gonna believe it, like whether that be positive or negative. So I tell myself like I'm really good at this, like I'm super confident, like I look good, like I'm super good at making music, like I'm about to make a banger ass track. Like I don't know. You need to tell yourself those positive things because sometimes nobody else will. And I've gotten a lot better at that because I spent a lot of time just fucking like not believing in myself and not thinking I was cool. And like that just doesn't really get you anywhere in life, bro. Like it's kind of, I don't know. It's really nice to just actually like appreciate who I am without anybody else's validation. Cause like, I don't know. You can't be like codependent on anybody else to like make you feel confident or make you feel good about yourself. At the end of the day, like it's up to you if you even believe the things people say about you. So you gotta tell yourself those positive things on your own. And I've gotten a lot better at that. So I would say like partly that I've found self love. Like there's still days where I beat myself up sometimes, but I feel like that's all of us.
Yeah, no, and I think it's extremely important that you have a majority of self-love, but also being hard on yourself, even if like it depends on how you take it and how you use it, but being hard on yourself is equally as important as loving yourself, right? Because if you're not hard on yourself, you're not going to make progress to where you can end up eventually loving yourself. You have to find that fine balance, the yin and the yang, the duality of mankind. Um, you just you got to be hard on yourself, but not too hard to a point where it's unrealistic, where you're setting unrealistic goals, where you know what I mean? When you're dogging on yourself for stupid shit that you genuinely can't control. Like I used to dog on myself for the way I looked, bro, because I would get
Yeah.
bullied for that shit. Looking back on the fact it was stupid and who cares? But point being, that's something I couldn't control. So why was I dogging on myself? Nowadays, I dog on myself for, oh, I didn't work hard enough today. I need to do more. I didn't do this. I didn't show my family enough love in the last few years. So let me make up for that and let me send them appreciative text once a day. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me do extra things for the people around me and myself and be hard on myself if I'm not doing these things. Those are things you can control, and that's the healthy part of it.
Yeah, like I think part of the self-improvement journey is like because like I don't know, like self-love is important, but like you also got to recognize things that you don't like about yourself, things that you got to improve. Because like you can't like every single thing about yourself. Like self-love isn't liking every single aspect of yourself. Like I don't know, you got to recognize like where you can improve and improve it, like you just said, like not spending enough time talking to your family, like instead of sitting there like beating yourself up like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, like I don't talk to my family enough, like I'm a loser, this and that. Like change those things, talk to your family, go out, hang out with people, like try to make a difference instead of just sitting there and being like, well, it's too late, I already spent all this time like making all these mistakes, like I'm too deep into it. Like no, it's never too late to change and make a positive improvement.
Mm-mm. It's never too late for anything. It's never too late. If you're alive, that it's possible that you can change that action or that habit or that that mistake that you've made. If you've hurt people in your life, you can go back and you can not necessarily fix it, but you can let them know that you apologize to them and you wish them the best luck. And you kind of like you can turn anything into the positive aspect of it. You can flip the coin on its back, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely say that.
So I'm gonna ask you about your music career.
All
'Cause
right.
it's actually really interesting to me because when I was growing up, especially in middle school, like I've always listened to rap music. The first memory I
Yeah.
have listening to hip hop was with my cousin Josh. Shout out to you, Josh, if you're listening to this. I love you, man. You were playing Kanye West in the car on the way to preschool when I was 4 fucking years old. Kanye West, man, you got me into the shit. My dad would be playing, yeah, he'd play some old school hip hop, but my dad was mostly into that rock shit back in the day. And my mom was
Yeah.
listening to that Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I still have love for all those kinds of music, but the hip hop is what really stuck with me.
Yeah, I
Um,
felt that on a different level.
Hip hop is so poetic, and it's just it keeps my mind stimulated personally. I think it's just such a cool genre, and it's created the most subgenres out of any other main genre of music. Anyway, I want to get your experience. Like, where did you first hear hip hop in your life? What got you interested in the music in general, and what made you want to start making music? Who were your inspirations? That sort of deal, man.
Well, I kind of had a similar experience. Like, I remember like hearing like Eminem and shit, and really liking Eminem when I was a kid, and like Lil Wayne and like Future, um, like some old school shit. Like, I really like rap music. I remember like just my cousin putting me on like similar to you at a super young age. I remember listening to like J. Cole and shit back in elementary school. Like, I don't know, and Eminem. Like, I don't know. I've always been like really captivated by rap music, just the way they're able to like rhyme all their words and like make an actual like impactful like statement out of what they're saying with having like all their words rhyme and shit. Like it's actually really impressive. And um I don't know. I don't know. Like rap music has just always captivated me with just how like they're able to genuinely like get across a super like meaningful message and rhyming the entire time. Like that shit is it's crazy.
It's artwork, bro. It's artwork.
Genuinely.
Who are your inspirations and what clicked in your head to make you say, "Hey, I want to do this myself now. I want to express my artistic ability in the rap and hip hop genre for other people to hear, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in like sixth grade or some shit, I found out who X was. I heard like Rip Roach or like the super crazy distorted 808s, him screaming his shit, but it still kind of sounded like rap music. And I feel like he was kind of like pushing the boundaries of like what rap music could be. And that really like took my attention, and I started paying attention to him a lot. Like I became obsessed with his music for a while. Like I really liked how diverse his music was and just how he really like just expressed himself artistically, because not everybody's willing to do that. A lot of people just kind of stick to one genre and then just do that for the rest of their career, whereas he just really did whatever the fuck he felt like. And I thought that was really cool because I don't know. I had never seen anybody do that before. And then I got into Suicide Boys a little later down the line, and I don't know, they like talk about their struggles with like addiction and depression and suicidal thoughts and shit. And they almost like, I wouldn't say they made like the drugs and the suicidal thoughts and shit sound cool, but they were able to like get it across in a cool way.
A relatable way.
Yeah, a very relatable way, and I really like that. I don't know, like those are definitely two of my biggest inspirations. And like I wouldn't even say like I heard a song by them one day and I was like, oh, like this, I want to make music now. Like I kind of just one day thought like I've been so like mesmerized by music for so long. It's genuinely like one of my favorite things about life is music. And it's one of the things that bring me the most happiness. So I thought, why not like make it myself, you know?
Yeah, so like what I'm hearing is you got the inspiration from X who pushed the boundaries, and now you want to say, hey, he can push the boundaries, I can push my own boundaries, I can make my own style and put my own spin on it.
Exactly. I try to be as unique as possible. Like I don't want to sound like a clone of nobody. I just kind of try to like authentically like just represent myself in my music. I try not to like lie about nothing, cap about nothing, don't talk about anything I haven't done. Just like genuinely like I don't know, just like vent when I go on the microphone. Like I try to like use my emotions to make music. Like, because I feel like that's what makes the best music. Like I heard Juice World talking about it one time. He's like, I make music based off like pure emotion, and like I think that's why my music is so good, and that's where I think the best music comes from is emotion. Because like every human feels emotions, and when you hear like somebody talk about their emotions on a song and you can relate to it, and they put your thoughts in a word so perfectly, it gives you the chills almost, you know. And like I don't know, I really want to be able to do that myself.
I'm gonna say firsthand, bro. You are doing that. You are doing that, and you're slowly getting better and better and better. Like no one starts off perfect,
No,
but bro, I can say, like for how little time you like 2 years is honestly like not that long. Like most
no,
rappers
it's
have been
not.
doing it for decades, decades. Like you are dude, you're on the fucking right track, dude.
Thank you.
And your music does really resonate, especially to this generation and the people, especially we grew up around in Utah specifically, bro, in like the middle school and high school like subculture. I think that you are really relatable, bro, and I think your music does have a good like a good sound to it too. You tap into that emotional like you were saying, and bro, it's cool to have you in the rap scene, bro. And I
Thank you.
can't wait to see where it takes you, bro. You're gonna go far places.
Me too. I'm really excited to see where it takes me. I'm never gonna give up. Like as much as it changes, if I ever like change my fucking name down the line or whatever, like I'm still gonna continue making music because it's my passion. It's what I love. Like of course I want to be able to turn it into a career and start making music from it right now, like in the future. But right now, of course, but in the future especially, and like I don't know. I'm not gonna let like small numbers like discourage me from no longer making music. And I've heard a lot of people say like it's not like you get 500 and then 600, 700, or like 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. Like that's not how like the growing process kind of goes. It's more so like 100, 1,000, 10,000. Like you grow in like huge numbers. Like
Exponentially.
yeah, exactly. It's not like I don't know. Like it is a slow come up, but like when you do make those bigger plays, it's not by a little bit. It's by a lot. And I've even noticed that with my own music.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, definitely. I've noticed that as well. To do with like music. Sorry, I get sidetracked in my head. Like I'm 100% listening, but I get sidetracked with other topics
I
that are
get it.
related. It's just the ADHD thing.
No,
You
I get it.
ADHD brainers out there, you guys get it.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you, man, especially with like hip hop, drug addiction is a big problem.
for sure.
And it's a big thing a lot of rappers deal with and talk about and vent about. I want to ask you, have you dealt with addiction, and how have you dealt with it?
I've most definitely dealt with addiction on my own. I started like experimenting with drugs at a very young age, like ninth grade, like 14, 15 type shit. Like I smoked weed for the first time. I was probably like 13. I started trying pills at like 14, 15 type shit. Like I've definitely dove into a lot of shit on my own time, and it's still like the same problems still linger to this day. And like I try to talk about it in my music, and I try to like, I don't know, just vent about it. And like I don't know, I really hope that there's some people out there that can relate to my music and feel the way I feel, and kind of just like I said earlier, like you listen to a song and it's kind of almost like they put your thoughts and emotions into words exactly, and it makes you feel a lot better that you're not alone. I hope that I can be that for somebody, because like I don't know, I know that I like my music. I think it's good, and no way that I'm the only human being on this planet that likes it. If I like it, there's got to be at least some other people out there that like it. I don't make my music for everybody. My music by all means is not for everybody at all, but I hope there's a select few out there that definitely fuck with it and can relate to it, and it resonates with them, because that's what I'm trying to do.
Here, here, bro. I can say I definitely relate to it. And if I like the chance, like the population statistic ratios, whatever, if and I'm close to you in location and like we kind of grew up together in middle school, if I can relate to that music, I know that there's a lot of other people out there because there's so many people in the world, bro. Just in your community, you already have a good amount of supporters, bro. You're gonna find that audience, and there's an audience for everyone out there, and I think you definitely have an audience out there for you.
I mean it's starting. I remember like before I graduated high school, motherfuckers would come up to me like, "Oh my God, Kid Kilo!" Like people I knew before I started making music, but still like just hearing them say that made me feel really good. And like a lot of people genuinely fuck with it and like are fully supportive of what I do, and that keeps me going for sure.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you.
Um.
We kind of like brushed past the addiction topic like
Oh yeah,
very
yeah.
lightly. If you want to
Yeah,
continue
no, you're good.
that, we
Go for
can.
it. So I've dealt with addiction as well. I'm gonna be open and honest with you guys. I've dealt with a lot of different addictions. The earliest addiction I can remember dealing with is a pornography. Pornography addiction is a real thing, whether you
For
believe it or not.
sure.
Almost all of you struggle with pornography addiction, if you believe it or not.
Facts.
And I think it's one of the worst addictions. It changes the way you look at women. Unfortunately, when you are hooked to this, you know you're in your lower animalistic form of yourself. And I disgrace myself for ever being addicted to porn. But you know you can't look down on yourself like we were saying earlier. You gotta just learn from your experience and be hard on yourself, be disciplined on yourself in that aspect. Um, I've been clean for it for like I don't even keep track anymore. It's been almost a full year.
As you've watched it at all?
Yeah.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
I've had like relapse with other things, but like generally stayed away from the pornography, bro. It's a terrible thing. Like it really does rots your mind, and
It does, bro. I don't think it does any good for anybody.
absolutely not, dude. And if you're in a relationship, you'll notice the difference while you're on porn and when you're off porn. The sex, the how you treat your woman, how your woman treats you, it's there's a complete difference. And women out there too. Hey, you're not hiding. We know you guys also watch porn, but they're just not as open about it. But I'm here to be open about it. We need to all do better and look at your porn addiction seriously. This is a serious call to action. You need to look at your porn addictions. That's something that you could solve. Like pill addictions, hair, like these more in-depth addictions are hard to deal with, but you can deal with the porn, and it's one of the most. It's a silent killer. I'm gonna move on to other addictions I've dealt with. I've dealt with video game addictions. Haha, laugh it away, but it's a real thing as
No,
well.
yeah, it definitely can be for
Yeah,
sure. You can be addicted to anything that releases dopamine in your brain. Like everybody, like really just mainly associates addictions with like drugs, but anything that releases dopamine in your brain, you can become addicted to. Shopping, porn, gambling, eating, anything. You can become addicted to a lot more things than just drugs.
100%, bro. 100%. And video games is a pretty prevalent one too in our society, just like pornography. I used to play video games over damn near 8 to 12 hours a day. I'm serious. All the way from when I was 7 years old to 16, 15, 16 is when I told myself, okay. I just became disinterested, but I also looked at it retrospectively like this shit is hindering me in so many ways. This is lost time. I didn't get put on this earth to sit here and and build my digital character. I'm gonna go out there and build my real life character.
Facts, bro. Like, I don't know, and I bet quarantine didn't help. But yeah, like how you said, you're not there to like build your digital character. Like at a certain point, bro, like I remember like I'm fucking Master Prestige and Black Ops 3 and shit. Like I used to be so proud of that. I used to like think that shit was so cool. And now I kind of look at it, I'm like, look at all my playtime. I'm like, damn, if I spent all that time doing some other shit, like I could be a lot further in my life right now. But like, hey, at least I can make that like realization because I mean, you can sit there and you can just stay in the same old habits, or you can recognize where you could have gone, where you what you could have done better, and that's progress right there. And you got to give yourself props for that. Like, don't beat yourself up for making those mistakes in the past. Be proud of yourself for recognizing where you went wrong and wanting to make a change.
Yeah, speaking on that, even if you relapse, if you realize that you relapsed and you just make little progress over time, dude. As long as you're making progress, that's what counts. It's when you give up and
Facts.
say, "Fuck it, I want to stay addicted." That's when it's a true issue and it's gonna have you for life. It's the awareness is when it comes in. I've dealt with other addictions as well. I've dealt with substance abuse. I smoked marijuana for the first time when I was in 10th grade when I was 15. So I was a little later than most people in America, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to say.
Yeah, it is crazy to say, huh? See, I was 15, and then I got into the psychedelics. I wasn't addicted to psychedelics, and I honestly think they transformed my life in a better way. But we're gonna get into that later. Um, but I've dealt with cocaine addiction the most recently. I'm not proud to say that at all. And if my family is watching, you already know, and I know you're disappointed in me for that, and that's all right. I understand where you're coming from. If I had a kid, I like if they told me that, I would be so disappointed in them as well. But I'm gonna make this a point. I've been clean off of that shit for over a year, and I'm never looking back on any of my
Oh
any
yeah.
substances I've ever been addicted to. The weed, the alcohol, the pills, the cocaine, as well as nicotine. I'm nicotine free. Shout out to you, Cambry, my little sister. She made me and my mom quit, and we were both still clean. So thank you, Cambry. But yeah,
Hell
addiction
yeah.
is fucking tough, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, bro. I went to rehab when I was 14 years old. Like, four fucking 10 years old. I turned 15 when I was still in that shit. Like, and honestly, before I went to rehab, like I wasn't doing like super hard like prescriptions, like the painkillers, the fucking the Adderall, the fucking Xanax, all that shit. Like I was kind of I remember like I got in a lot of trouble for like smoking weed and shit, and my parents started drug testing me, and I didn't like the fact that I couldn't get high anymore, so I started looking for other ways to get high, like and unfortunately, the main way that I started doing that was like over the counter shit. I remember like doing like drinking like fuck ton of Robitussin all the time, taking like a bunch of Mucinex pills or whatever the fuck, DXM, like Benadryl, stupid shit like that. And like, bro, there was this like it's dumb, it's tweaker shit. Like I was taking fucking Benadryl every night to get high. At a certain when I was like 14 years old, bro, just because I didn't like the fact that I couldn't get high, like stoned anymore. Like I don't know, and that's I at a certain point it kind of just like got embedded into like who I was, and it just became something that I did all the time. Like it didn't really become like oh, should I do this today or should I not do this? It just became like second nature almost, I guess you could say.
And that's the problem with addiction. It becomes second nature. It feels normal to you.
Yeah,
That's when it becomes a problem, because like you are no longer aware that it is something external. Now it's a part of you, and now you don't know how to separate it and understand that it is bad for you. And I've had experiences like that too. Like, we laugh about it. I mean, it's kind of funny that like kids do that shit, and I've done that shit too. I would get high off of DXM too, unfortunately. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But the fact that we can look back at it and be like, "Huh, we were fucking stupid," is where you make progress.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't know, like the reason why I ended up getting sent to like the mental hospital and the rehab place, let me think about this. So basically, it was like I can actually remember it pretty well. It was like the last day of eighth grade. Not the last day. So the last day of eighth grade was actually the first time I ever skipped school. Because in middle school they treated skipping like way bigger of a deal than they do in like high school. But anyways, I skipped school for the first time the last day of eighth grade because I just that's when I really just like solidified it that like I don't give a fuck and I'm kind of just gonna do whatever I want. And then the first day of summer, the first day of freedom, the first day out of school, my stupid ass decided to run away, bro. Like that ass, I got ready, bro. I got a backpack. I had fucking like Q-tips, shampoo, water. Like I was ready to be gone for like a little bit. Like I don't know. I had the whole fucking pack like ready to go, but we had like cameras in front of our house and stuff. Nothing too bougie. Like, don't think I got this big ass mansion or nothing. I just live. I lived in the suburbs for sure, but like nothing crazy. But like, anyways, I don't want to see like the front doorbell camera to like see me. So I go. I went. I remember I went in the backyard and I hopped over the fence and I kind of just started walking. And like my mom was almost home and she like I remember just seeing her text me and I kind of just ignored them. I think it was something like, "Oh, where are you?" Like I don't know, she saw I wasn't in my room. She started freaking out, just blowing up my phone. But like I wasn't responding to her or nothing. And then yeah, I kind of just kept walking and walking and walking, and I went and like I sat by this walking trail and I kind of just laid there for a while because I had no plan. Like I had like no, I didn't really know where I was gonna go. And then my homie posted on a story. He's like, "Yo, who's trying to kick it?" And I slide up. He's like, "Oh, I'm not trying to have people over for a little bit." That's what he's telling the story. I'm like, "You think I can come soon?" He's like, "Fuck it, you can come right now." And I go over there. I'm hanging out with him for a little bit. He starts having like some girls over, a couple of the guys over, um, and we're just kicking it like in his basement. And then I eventually tell him, I'm like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you something, but like you can't tell nobody." I was like, "All right, all right." And well, he was like, "All right." So I tell him, I was like, "Bro, I ran away." He's like, "Bro, that's not even a big deal. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're tripping. Like, that's not even like, why are you stressing about that?" I was like, "Okay, like, I just wanted to tell you so you knew, so you're not like tripping." And he told me, I asked him if I could sleep over. He said, "Yeah." And then he was having people over and like people were getting loud and rambunctious, so his dad ended up getting pissed off. He said everybody had to leave, including me. So I was like, fuck, because what am I supposed to do? Go home? Ran away. So like he had like this little playhouse. I wouldn't say little. He had this decent sized like playhouse thing in his backyard. Like shit had like two floors. Like you'd have to crouch your head down and shit, but like it had two floors in it, bro. Like had carpet in it. Like had a functioning light switch in that bitch. Like it's pretty nifty. So I literally asked him. I was like, bro, you think I could just spend the night in there? He's like, sure. So I'm I go in there, and I probably like I laid in there for like 10 minutes or something. I'm getting cozy. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Like I was gonna sleep in there. And then he calls me like 10 minutes after I get in there. He's like, yo, like my dad knows. Like I had to tell him like you gotta go. Like he can take you home. Like your mom's worried. I was like, shit. Immediately hung up the phone. Fucking hopped over his fence. I was like, shit. I don't got anywhere to go. Like, where am I supposed to go? So I laid on the side of his house, bro, like under some bushes and shit. I was like, fuck, just like looking at my phone. It's at like 17. It's getting close to dying. I did have a charger, but like I'm outside. I don't know where I'm gonna plug that shit in. So I'm like, maybe I was charging on the side of his house, but like, anyways, I'm laying there for a little while. Just like I was like, well, I guess this is where I'm sleeping on the side of his house. And this girl texted me. She's like, oh. like you can come over to my house. Like I heard you got kicked out of you can come to my house if you want. I was like, oh, all right, sweet. Like, can I sleep over? She's like, yeah. I was like, does my mom know? I was like, about what? I'm like, all right, bet. Like, she's clueless. I'm gonna go over there. So I go over there, and I thought it was just her. And then I get in her room, and it's like her and two other of her friends. One of the girls was one of the people that was at my homie's house, and she like they all just start interrogating me as soon as I get in a room. They're like, "Why did you run away? Why is there missing person posters of you? Like, why did you do this?" I was like, "Fuck!" Like, damn, like, should I go? Like, why are y'all tripping? They're like, no, no, you can stay here, right? Like, and I don't know. They're just like, it's like, what do you want? Like, you look high as fuck. Like, I can't even lie. Like, bro, I was just hitting cart back then. Lord knows if it was real or not, but like, probably not. But and then I was at my homie's house and I told them about how like I did Benadryl and shit to get high, and they're like, no way. It's like, bro, I'll do it right now. I took fucking 9 of them just to show off how cool of me, right? But so I'm faded, bro. Like I'm probably slurring my words and shit. Like, it's like, what? Fuck. They're like, what do you want? Like, oh, like what? Why are you acting like this? And I'm like, like I'm not on nothing. You're tripping. I've just been smoking. And I'm like, bro, I had the tweaker wires for the car. You probably, if you know, you know. I had the wires to like hit the car. I plugged my box into their wall. I'm like hitting my car. Like, stop hitting that shit in here. I'm like, all right, my bad. Like, put it away. They look away. I just hit it again. Like, I don't know. And they had like some Little Caesars pizza. They let me eat some of it. And then I fell asleep. And they woke me up. I think it was like 20 minutes later or something. They're like, your mom's outside. I was like, fuck. Like, I go upstairs. I'm like, she's in front of the house, bro. I was dead ass debating. I was like, fuck, do I just run in the backyard and like start hopping fences? I was like, nah, bro. I literally I saw like cop lights outside. I was like, fuck, bro, they're gonna chase me if I start running. And then I go out there and there's my mom and like a cop car, maybe two, and my mom just grabs me by the arm hella hard, like the hardest she's ever fucking grabbed me. I was like, shit. She like walks me over to her car, go to my house. I'm like, and the cops there, they're like, all right, so basically like we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. Like you're obviously under the influence or something. I was like, nah. Like let me go in my bed. Like I'm trying to go to sleep. Like oh you're tripping. Like let me just sleep it off. Like it's all good. And they're like, no, like you're on something. You need to go to the hospital. I was like, I kept saying like no. Let me just sleep in my bed. And then the cop looks at me. He's like, all right, you're either gonna go with your mom or you're gonna come with me. I was like, all right. So I'm like, I went with my mom. Crashed at the fucking hospital. Like crashed. Woke up. Went to this place called Uni Mental Hospital. Went there for like 3 weeks. Got out, did some day treatment shit, ended up fucking around too much in the day treatment, so I got sent to a residential program where you lived there for like 2 months, got out, did the day treatment shit again. um and yeah, I basically yeah, I stopped doing that shit. Like I went in there like 14, got out at 15. Like so counting like the uni, the day treatment, the residential, and then the day treatment again, it was like 7 months of treatment. I was in the residential for 2 months.
How was the experience in the residential for the 2 months? Like, walk me through that experience, bro. Like the goods and the bads. I'm sure it was mostly bads, but I'm curious. Like, what? Tell us the story from the inside.
Well, I was the youngest person in there. I was 14. A lot of people in there 15, 16, 17. So that was something, but like people liked me in there. Like I was funny. I made jokes. I feel like I'm able to make friends pretty easy. So that's what I was doing, right? Like not everybody fuck with me, but like, not everybody's gonna fuck with you. That's just how it is. But I'm in there and I'm just, I don't know. I kind of got used to being in there. And I don't know, we would have like conversations, like, we go around in circles. It's like, all right, introduce yourself, like, what's your drug of choice, all this and that, like, say how you got in here, right? You'd be like, hi, my name is this, I like doing this drug, and this is why I came here. Like, I don't know. I remember this one hippie kid. Some kids would be hella geeked off coke. Some motherfuckers in there would like smoking meth. Some people were just in there because they were smoking weed and acting a fool, and their parents wanted them in there. One kid was in there for porn addiction. I'm not even kidding.
That's funny you say that. Dude. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, like that's he never
Look how
tried drugs in
serious
his
that shit
life.
is.
Like, oh no, yeah, they're not like there was a pretty diverse crowd in there. It was definitely something. They had showers in there. There was no like like when I was in the mental hospital, they had like showers like in your room. Like you had your own shower. You could shower whenever you want, really in the day, as long as it was some free time, and you could take a shower for as long as you want. In the residential program, bro, 7 minute showers only, and they're like community showers, like right next to the toilets in these fucking bathrooms.
Prison shit.
Yes, bro, and they stand outside of the room and they like listen to you shower. If you want to go to the bathroom, so you had 7 minute showers, and then if you got to the highest level, they allowed you to take longer showers. Wow, how nice of them. I know, but fucking Jesus. The food there wasn't too bad. I can't even lie. The cook, we call her moms or mama, I think. She made some bomb ass food. I can't even lie. That was probably the best part of it, was the food.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Can't even lie.
That's cool to hear the stories from the inside, bro. Like I'm glad you made it out too, and I'm glad you're doing a lot better from that time in your life. And it's a good learning point too. You're probably proud
Yeah.
of yourself, I bet, huh?
Oh, I came a long fucking way. I used to be a reckless ass kid. I didn't care about my future. I remember in like ninth grade, I was wilding the fuck out. So I'm from Utah. I know a lot of places like they go to high school in like ninth grade, I think. In Utah, you stay at the middle school in ninth grade. So when I was basically technically still, I mean, you're a freshman still. They count it as high school grades, but like you're still going to the middle school. Um, I remember in ninth grade or like eighth grade, I'm thinking like ninth grade type shit. I'm thinking like, damn, I'm not even gonna live past high school. Like I accepted that. Like I wanted that. I didn't even really want to live at the time. Like I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna just get high all the time and just do what I want. And then when I die, I die. Or I'm gonna just kill myself. Like I didn't really have like a plan for my future because I didn't really think I had one type shit.
Yo, I was honestly the same way. You end up joining a place like in your mind where you don't know where you're gonna go. Like if you don't set goals for yourself, if you get caught in the midst of all the dopamine rushing and the chasing and the just living recklessly with no purpose, like most people go through that in their lifetime, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the fact that you come out of it and then create a purpose for yourself, just like you did. Like you're into music now. Me with my businesses and this podcast and my social media presence and my teachings, you have to create a goal for yourself. It doesn't matter how big, how small it is, as long as you give yourself a sense of direction, bro. Like it'll start to develop itself into something greater and multiple avenues. You know what I'm saying? And it's important to keep that. And you should be proud of yourself, and all of you out there should be proud of yourself as well if you have any goals at all. Because, like he said, he was at a point where he had none, and he was willing to accept death or suicide at such an early age. That could be you. So if you have any goals at all, or if you're grateful to be even alive, be blessed. You're
Pursue that.
blessed. You're blessed. Pursue it, and you're blessed. Just remember that.
Give yourself purpose. Sorry for cutting you
Oh,
off.
you're
You
good,
was
bro.
saying
No,
something?
go for it.
Like, so I don't know. I can't lie. Like, I don't really like believe in God, to be honest. Like, I don't really like, I don't know. Like, I don't really think, I don't really necessarily know what I believe in. I wouldn't consider myself an atheist. I'm agnostic. I'm open to the idea that there's something out there because I have had some spiritual experiences, but like, I don't exactly know what it is. And like, for the longest time, and even now I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Like I didn't think that like life had meaning. I thought it's kind of everything is kind of just random. You're kind of just, you're born and then you die and life just is what it is. Like there's no special behind the scenes meaning to it. And like you can look at that in a bad way or a good way. You can be like, "Oh, life has no meaning. Like this sucks. Like like life isn't leading up to anything. Like it's all pointless." Or you can be like, "Life has no meaning, so it can be whatever the fuck I want it to be. It can have whatever meaning I give to it." And that's kind of the second, like the latter is kind of what I chose. Like I kind of was like, like life doesn't, like if life doesn't have a meaning, then it can be whatever I want it to be. And I kind of just started trying to make life my bitch by like just doing what I wanted to do, and yeah, like pursuing music and giving myself a purpose. That's what I feel my purpose is to create art.
That's that duality again, like we were saying. You can choose to do nothing, or you can choose to do everything. And speaking, that's that. I'm glad you brought up your belief in God, right? So I have such a crazy view on this. So when I was a kid, I was atheist 100%. Like I was baptized Catholic, and I was raised Catholic a little bit. We went to church just a little bit, not like every weekend, but like once every 2 months. And I hated it. I did not believe in it whatsoever. I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was a societal controlling thing. And
Wow.
as I got older, I got into the psychedelics a little bit, and I think that's what started my spiritual experience. It opened my mind into greater possibilities and feelings of higher power. Me personally, do I believe in God? That is a mixed, tricky question. That is a double-edged sword. Do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe God is a man, an external being, a deity that is external to us, that controls us outside of us in the universe? No. I believe that everything is God. I'm going to reference a scientific study here. I'm going to have to pull it up, probably link it in the description of this podcast. But the scientist, the scientist and a group of students at this university somewhere in the United States, I forget where, did a study where they found that electrons are conscious. They are aware of their own existence. Now, what does this mean? What is everything made out of? Atoms. What are in almost every atoms besides alpha particles, which are sort of theoretical? What are in every atom, or what are in every atom, right? Electrons. What is everything made out of? Atoms. Everything has electrons, therefore everything possesses consciousness at its deepest level. If you can't wrap your head around that is like the most profound discovery in human history, and we don't even know it yet. Everything is conscious. What does that mean? You are the exact same thing in relation to everything. What makes me conscious is the same thing that makes animals conscious, the same thing that possesses atomic and subatomic structure in wood and literally anything you can count on. Everything is the exact same. Everything possesses consciousness and awareness. What does this mean? Everything in the universe is aware of its own existence. I think that's what God truly is. And we are that experiencing itself in its most creative form. We are experiencing it in its own perspective, right? Through each individual human being is experiencing it in its own way, but it's one collective. We are fractals of the ultimate everything that is the universe. And you can get deeper. You can go into higher dimensions. You know what I mean? You can go into lower dimensions, but mostly higher dimensions. Like I think when you go to sleep, that's your astral body projecting itself into the fourth dimension. We cannot see the fourth dimension. We can only see the first and second dimension. When you're in the fourth, you can see the third. It gets real deep, but I think everything is interconnected, and I think that's what God truly is, and I think that's what all religions teach too. But people take these books out of context. These are meant to be taken metaphorically and practically, but people take them as the literal context. They take Jesus walking on water as him literally walking on water, but that's a metaphor for something. That's a metaphor for you rising above your brain, rising above your consciousness, and gaining a Christ-like consciousness. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh, but yeah. Anyway, like everything is conscious. That's my honest belief, and I mean, like the duality, man. What I've boiled it down to through all my like quantum physics research, all my beliefs, all my experiences, is that everything is duality, right? Yin and yang. Um, I think the root of all things is light and darkness. Darkness is nothingness. Light is everything. So it's such a tricky question. Like, what is God? Right? Is God
Right.
light? Is
I
God
don't know.
God is everything. I think that people take the idea of God because it has a name and a label. They use it wrong. They use it as like, oh, it's a guy with a beard striking down on people. And I feel like that's false. I think we are all God. We all possess the exact same power that Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ is a story of us as humans, what we are capable of, and we have the power to do. Like if you've read the Bible and actually take it metaphorically, you'll understand the power that all of us have. And you can practice these things and put them into practice, put them into use, and prove it for yourself.
Hmm. Okay.
It takes a lot of deep like understanding to even like wrap the head around that concept. And like I'm not like talking down on nobody, but it like I that's what has always interested me. So I brought myself down those rabbit holes since I was a kid. I never knew I was until now. Now I look back and like I brought myself down those rabbit holes of thinking deep about this stuff and talking to people who have had the same psychedelic spiritual experiences as me. And that's ultimately, I mean, that's just my belief. um it gets deep. I'm not gonna get too into it because I could sit here and fucking talk about it for 8 hours. I swear on everything, I could talk about it for 8 hours. I'm not gonna get that deep into it. But speaking of psychedelic experiences, have you like what are your experiences with psychedelics?
I've, I've had a lot of psychedelic experiences. Like the first time I tried acid, it was like that was the first drug I tried after weed. I think was acid. I did acid for the first time. I think I was like 14, like eighth grade. I've done like, and I'm not saying like I don't know. Do not start doing psychedelics at that or any drug of that matter at like such an early age. It stunts physical and mental growth, and you don't need to be introducing that into your body at such an early point in your life. I really don't think I made a right decision doing that. But as a like, I don't know. I've done shrooms, I've done acid, I've had some interesting like experiences. Like I don't know if I'd say like I've had any like spiritual experiences necessarily like tripping. I just kind of like the way it makes me think. Like when I take mushrooms, especially like because that's more of the side that I've been doing like recently. If I'm tripping, I'm probably gonna take some mushrooms, but like it makes me just like think. It helps me think of my life from a different perspective, almost like a third person perspective. It helps me look at me as like a character, not just like myself. Okay, this is me. It's like, all right, this is like someone else. Like I'm able to look at myself as someone else and look at the decisions I make and be like, okay, like am I doing the right thing right now? Like I don't know. Like I don't want to like glorify the usage of any sort of drug, but like I kind of feel like when I trip, sometimes it's almost like, your brain, it's like there's cogs in your brain that turn and that's what causes you to think. It's like spraying WD-40 on those fucking cogs and they just get to turning. It is like I don't know, you just start having these profound realizations and thoughts that you never would think that you would have. Like I don't know. I just think it opens your brain to new thoughts and new perspectives. And like it kind of takes your ego away. So it helps you look at your life from a different perspective, from not so egotistical, not so biased, you know?
No, absolutely, bro. You're 100% correct. And I think an important part of that is the fact that it like it shows parts of yourself that you bury down and you don't want to see when you're in your sober state of mind. It brings up the negatives. That's why people call it a bad trip, because they can't handle what they didn't want to see, what they shoved down their whole life, their childhood. It
Yeah.
brings it up for those people that supposedly have these bad trips. It brings those parts of them up. Now, if you take it and use it to your advantage, it is beyond resourceful to you to use that. It's helped me gain insight on myself. It's helped me solve my anger issues. I'm gonna be honest, it started the cure of my depression that I've went through for 8 years. I was in the darkest abyss. I had 10 suicidal attempts. It brought me out of that into a state of hope, into a state of like loving everything and having a sense of gratitude for literally everything in this universe. I think it's the way you use it. And what's funny is in every other country in the world besides the United States of America, it is used as therapy and it is completely legal. You come here and it is banned and it is a class 1 substance. It is a felony if you are
No
caught with
medical
possession.
usage. Yeah, like, and yeah, like you said, in other places, they have medical reasons to use it, and like here it's kind of just like a recreational thing. There's like no medical usage for it. At least that's how it's labeled, and like I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it could definitely help with like the mental side of things a lot. Like I don't know what it could do for like physical health. That's not really what I'm focused on. Like I think it can make a huge improvement on like your mental health if you're in the right mindset state. Like I don't think everybody should do it. Like if you're in a bad state of mind, I don't think you should be like, oh, hear this and be like, oh, okay, I should go trip. Like make sure you're in a good state of mind. Make sure you're not like paranoid. Make sure you're not like stressed out or like having suicidal thoughts or freaked out about anything. Because if you're like feeling those ways, you definitely don't want to do that
Mhm.
because it can I don't know, it
It'll
can,
enhance it.
yeah, it enhances your thoughts. Like every thought that comes up, you're not able to just like brush it off and be like, oh, okay. Like you sit there and you analyze every single reason why that thought even popped in your head. Like you really, like, I don't know. It just makes you think a lot more intensely and a lot deeper. And some people can't handle it. Some people genuinely, they try it one time and they're like, I'm never doing that shit again. Some people try it once and they fall in love with it. Like it's not for everybody. It is definitely not for everybody. But like I've had some cool experiences. Like it's just, yeah, like you said, it makes you appreciate life more. Like I like going on walks. I like going in nature and shit, going in the forest. But like sometimes when I like think about going on a walk, I'm like, fuck am I gonna do out there? Like, oh, I'm gonna go over the forest. Like, fuck am I gonna do over there? Just like stand around. But then like I don't know when I'm tripping, I just like I don't know, because it almost still sounds like I'm glorifying, but like when I'm on like mushrooms or something, like I'll just go like sit in the forest, not even play any music, just like exist there, just like hear the birds, listen to the birds, listen to the like the wind just like moving the leaves around and shit. Just you just sit there and exist and just appreciate life for what it is. You're like, damn, like I'm alive right now. Like I don't know, it just helps you really appreciate like what you got a lot more, because like it could always be worse. And
Well, 100%. And it brings you into the present moment, like you were just stating, it brings you into that present moment, the state of meditation. Um, when you're in the present moment, you are no longer thinking about the future and the past. But what I like to reference a lot is uh, depression is being stuck up on the past, and anxiety is being worried about the future, right?
yeah,
When you're in the present moment, while the depression may still exist biochemically in your brain, you are now in the moment. You forgot about it. You're not aware and direct connection with your depression or your anxiety. I mean, depression and anxiety are a lot deeper than that, but at its root, that's really what it is.
yeah,
And I forget who coined that quote, but I mean that's just one I like to think about a lot. And when you're on these psychedelics as well, for a lot of people, it'll make you question your reality. It'll make you
yeah.
question the world around you, and it'll kind of expose the kind of matrix we live in. And that's a good way to segment into the next topic. What is the matrix to you? What is the Matrix,
Hmm.
man? How do you what do you view it as, and what does that definition mean to you? What is you know?
Like the real life Matrix, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I would just say like kind of the rules and laws that society places on its citizens and like governments and like I don't know, it's kind of just social constructs, like the way everybody's believed that they should act. And like I don't really exactly know how to put it. Just like I think there's like a very widespread idea on like how you're supposed to live your life. Like you need to do this, you need to do that, and you're kind of fed that for a lot of your life. And it's kind of just like sticking in that and not really realizing, yo, I can do whatever I want with my life. I can move to a different country. I can become a professional musician. I can become a comedian. I don't have to just work like a 9 to 5 job my whole life and then that's how I make money and then I retire. Like you can do whatever you want with your life. Life is whatever you make it. And you kind of need to realize that Like, I don't know, that I feel like that's kind of what escaping the matrix is for me,
Mhm.
is like realizing like you don't have to do what everybody else does. You don't have to say what everybody else says. Like, you don't have to believe what everybody else believes. Even if you're the only person you know that believes what you believe in, you have every right to believe that, because beliefs aren't based on fact. It's based really off of like life experiences. So I think you can believe whatever you want to believe, regardless if anybody else agrees with you. And like escaping the matrix is kind of just realizing like you can do whatever you want with your life, regardless of what other people want and what other people think you should do or are supposed to do.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that belief most definitely. I resonate with that. I think that's I think that's a 100% fact. I don't like what you just said to me is fact because I can look at the world around me and I have evidence for these things. But I also think that it runs deep like everything. There's a rabbit hole to that. And I'm going to step right into that topic. I'm going to step into the topic of getting deep into what the matrix is and my beliefs and my experiences. Um
What do you think?
so 100% what you said, but I think it goes deeper than that too. I think that the whole universe is a matrix of sorts. Why? Um, for a couple of reasons, right? So, let me think. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here because it does get really deep. So everything, right? There's a cause and effect to everything in the universe. Okay,
Yeah,
so everything that exists, matter and energy, is obviously effect, right? It's not, it can be a cause, but it is ultimately an effect. Now, something had to cause that. Something turned it on, something started it. It didn't come from nothing. I don't think that's possible. It came from something. And whether it's a computer simulation, whether it's not, whether it's a quantum physics simulation, it doesn't matter. I think that it is a matrix. And what a matrix is it's a box that you're kept in. It is something that is the effect of a causation of creation, and everything is like, so it's everything that's made in order. But like he said, when it gets down to a societal level, it's us being programmed to fall into this matrix rather than thinking outside of the box, right? The matrix is the
yeah,
box. When they say think outside of the box, think outside of the matrix. Think outside of what you're programmed to believe. When things are fed
yeah,
to you, that's programming. Think outside of it. Like I was talking about God earlier, that is thinking outside of the box programming, right? But religion would be thinking inside of the box because that's what they program you to believe. I think it's important to think outside of the box because it'll expand your mindset and your beliefs and just give you a genuine and general curiosity for life. Um,
yeah. Like
what's it?
even if you're set on like a certain belief, be open to different ideas and the possibility that maybe somebody else could be right. Even if somebody else tells you their like standpoint and what they think, and you're still gonna believe what you believe. Be open minded to like listening to other people's perspectives, because like not everybody's gonna agree with you, and you just kind of have to be okay with that.
Yep, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, man.
Straight up.
But you're not wrong for having an asshole, right? You can't denounce the fact that everyone's got one.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Like it, someone's opinion is the truth for them, and that's all that
Yeah,
matters. Like you create your own reality is what it boils down to. You
yeah,
create your own reality based on your
exactly.
beliefs.
Life is literally exactly like what I was saying. Like life is what you make it. And like I don't know, like kind of I know where I'm a little off track here. You were talking about psychedelics earlier. I remember like um I was tripping. This probably like wasn't even that long ago, maybe like a year ago or something, but maybe less honestly. But I was like I was just moving around and shit, you know, it felt all weird, felt all wonky. And I remember going in the bathroom and just looking in the mirror. And I was like, damn, it feels like my first time being a human being. And then I realized that it is my first time being a human being. And it always will be my first time being a human, you know?
You know, I feel you.
Like, isn't that a weird thought?
It's
Like,
such a weird
I
thought.
don't know, because I'm moving around. I'm like, damn, it feels like my first time being human. And then I'm like, it is, you know? Like, it is my first time being
Yeah,
human. I don't know. Like, everybody's figuring out it as you go along. Like,
yeah.
nobody's born into the world knowing exactly what they're supposed to do. Nobody grows up knowing exactly what they're supposed to do. You kind of got to figure it out on your own. And that can be a really stressful task. Like, life can be hard sometimes. It's hard to, like, I don't know, figure out what you needed, like what you should do with your life, and figuring out what your purpose is. Your purpose is whatever you want it to be at the end of the day. That's what I think.
I think what helps with that is living within virtues and not vices. Live within virtues. Vices could be anything. It could be substances. It could be, video games. It could be living in
Gambling.
distraction. It could be lack of discipline. It could be living off of motivation and not discipline. You need to live in virtue. Live a virtuous life, and it'll give itself meaning, and it'll be less stressful to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? Figure out what life is. It'll be less stressful. Having a sense of purpose is almost everything, right? Because if you don't have a sense of purpose, what's the point of living? What's the point
Yeah.
of even caring about living? And then you just live this useless life, and now you just wasted this opportunity you got, the 1 in 18 quadrillionth chance you got to be here. You are like a million times more likely to win the lottery, win the Powerball than you are to be alive. Why waste it? Do you understand the conditions and the chances and the environment it took for you specifically to be born? it's almost impossible to it's not almost, it is impossible to replicate you.
Yeah.
So enjoy it, live it to its fullest.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's my greatest advice in life. Live it to its fullest, because why the fuck would you not? Why are you wasting the greatest gift in the known
Anyone could ever
universe?
receive. Anyone could ever receive. You gotta appreciate every moment for what it is. Like you gotta take. You don't take anything for granted. Like when you're at your family dinner, like talk to your family. Like appreciate the fact that they're there. Like go out of your way to have conversations with them. Like and like, don't just sit there on your phone. Just go to the other room. Like I can't wait to leave. Like for all you know, that's gonna be your last time seeing them. Or like when you're kicking it with your homies, and you're having a good time, you're laughing it up. Stay the fuck off your phone. Like actually enjoy the moment. You can go on your phone any time of the day that you want. Your friends aren't gonna be there any time of the day that you want. Like, you gotta appreciate the moments that you have and the experiences that you're blessed with, because you're not gonna get them all the time, and you just need to appreciate them while they're there. Because, like I said, it literally, like, you gotta appreciate the time you have with people, because for all you know, that is going to be the last time you see them. There is no guarantee that you're ever gonna see anybody again when they walk out of that door. When you walk out of that door.
Zero guarantee. Like, life is a game of chance, and you've won the first round of it by being alive. Now do your best to win
That's
every other
deep.
round.
That's fucking deep.
Do you believe in karma, bro? Karma?
Yeah, I definitely believe in karma. I remember when I was in like that residential thing, they asked me what my higher power was. And like I sat there and thought for a while, and I kind of like came to the conclusion that like that's what my higher power is karma. Cause
Oh
like I
shit.
said, I don't believe in God. Like I kind of just believe like like the energy that you put out into the world is what's gonna come back to you. Like I heard this quote one time. It's your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh shit.
And that kind of
Yeah.
goes exactly along with what I'm saying. Like the energy that you put out is the energy that comes back to you. Like I don't know, you put out negative energy, you're sad all the time, you make shitty decisions. People are gonna make shitty decisions around you, and people are gonna be fucked
Mhm.
up around you. But like if you're going out of your way to make a positive impact on the world, people are probably gonna try to make a positive impact on you. I think that whatever energy you put out into the world is gonna be given back to you in one form or another.
Exact energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It only gets transferred. And if you're giving out good energy, it's going to transfer good energy back to you. That is fucking beautiful, bro. That is exactly what it is. A lot of people think karma is like a deity, an external god, like we were talking about, being like, oh, you kicked the homeless person, bzz, fuck you, you fucking bad karma.
Yeah.
No, it like people act like it's some god dishing it out to you. What I think it is like what I was talking about earlier, right? We're all connected, everything is one. Like I am you, you am I. At our
Yeah.
deepest level, I am you, you am I. There's no separation, right? So that means like if I were to be a dick to you and I fucking just decked you in the face right now, I'm gonna get fucking decked back. Why? Because I ultimately, at his deepest level, even though I hurt him physically in his own personal egoic right, I'm hurting myself, and it can go to anything. Like I
Yeah.
could fucking call someone a fucking pussy or something on the street, and like 2 days later, I get fucking kicked in the nuts or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Like
energy
you're
comes back
hurting
to you in one way
yourself.
or another. Or like, you next time you talk to your mom, she like screams at you, or like, I don't know, you fucking walk down the street later and you like trip, or you fucking like get a stain on your new shoes or something. Like, I don't know. Like that bad energy is gonna come back to you one way or another. I genuinely believe that that's just the way the world works. Like whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. That's just whatever you surround yourself with, or people like those things are gonna surround themselves with you. Like type shit, if
I
that makes sense.
Oh, 100%, bro. And I think it's such a blessing. It's such a blessing that life is kind of like a game. It's this game of I can treat the world, myself, and others with the greatest, most utmost respect and get it back.
Yeah.
Or I can choose to be an absolute prick and get the prick energy right back to me. You get to choose. You decide your fate. You decide your destiny. I think that's so cool. I think that's so cool because all it takes is one conscious decision and then just proceeded continuous effort afterwards. But all it takes is that spark of I want to be a good person now. I want to do this good thing. That is so fucking cool to me. And like to you guys, that might be like, oh yeah, you're right. Whatever, that's cool. To me, it's so cool that you get to, because imagine the universe could be so much more harsh. Like
Really could.
it could, like you don't understand. The universe could be in a way where you don't control it, and an external deity controls your life. No, I prefer the way we're living now. So live it to your best ability.
The fact that there's even a planet that can support life long enough for intelligent life to happen is already like mind-blowing, amazing. Like take advantage of this opportunity you have, the life that you're given. Like I don't know. Like don't I don't know. I just like don't take your life for granted. Like nobody asked to be born. Nobody's put into this world like I don't know expecting to be here. Like everybody's kind of like in the same boat where it comes to like you're not really like put here for a specific reason. You're kind of like part of life is figuring out like why you're here and figuring out your purpose, and figuring out what you want to do with your life. Like you're not brought here with a specific purpose. I feel like that'd make life a lot more boring if like as soon as you were born it's like, all right, you're supposed to be this, like I like the figuring it out part. Like it can be stressful sometimes. It can be kind of like worrying. It's like, fuck, like what if I don't make a decision quick enough? Like what if I make the wrong decision? Like what if I don't do the right thing? Like what if I, instead of doing this, I did this and I was way more successful at it? My dad always told me like success is measured in, if you're happy and you're healthy, you're successful. It's not measured with money. If you're happy and you're healthy, then you're successful. And I believe that fully.
Life is a cool game we all get to play. Now play it to your the best of your ability. I got one last question for you before we get to the end of this
Hey,
podcast.
before you ask me that question,
What's
you
up?
were like what you were saying, Juice World, like he it's like at the end of one of his music videos or something, or maybe the beginning, he was saying some shit like, oh, we're all human beings and we're all put on the same earth, we're all put on the same planet with the same resources. So with that being said, you can accomplish anything if not more than what others have achieved. And that quote by itself has inspired me more than anything else.
Damn, that's deep, dude. It's true. It's not about how many resources you have. It's about how resourceful you are with what you got. You only get to work with what you have, and we all start with something. You got to play the cards you have in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
What last question, bro? What mindset tips do you have for the people listening to this right now that will help them, like just in their life in general?
Remember that discipline is more important than motivation. I remember actually a while ago my friend asked me, he's like, what do you think is more important, discipline or motivation? And I was like, motivation, because how are you supposed to stay disciplined if you don't have any motivation? And then he was like, bro, that's exactly where you're wrong, is because you're not always going to be motivated, you're not always going to have motivation. And like that's just a fact. Like motivation can be hard to come by sometimes, like you're not always going to be motivated to do what you want. Discipline is doing what the fuck you need to do when you don't feel like it. Even like you just do it because you know you need to do it, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel like shit on the worst of days, you still get up and do what the fuck you need to do because you need to do it. That's what discipline is, and that's why discipline is more important than motivation. It's because you don't need motivation to have a disciplined mind. Discipline is just basically rules that you put on your own life, things that you need to follow, like doing what you need to do regardless if you don't feel like it. That's one of the most important things in life, is discipline. Just doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like it, because that's how you're gonna make it the farthest. Discipline is more important than motivation. 100%. Stay disciplined.
Yeah, you got to set a routine for yourself. Tasks, hobbies, habits, thought patterns. You got to be disciplined on all of it. You know what I mean? You can be motivated, but what happens on that day you're not motivated and you still have that goal? If you're not disciplined and you don't act on it, it's not gonna fucking come into fruition, right? But if you stay on it, even when you don't want to, every day I've had to practice this, and I'm reading a book right now. Hold on, let me grab it. I'm reading a book right now called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. I recommend this book to anyone out there. It's got short chapters. It's an easy read.
You got
It's
the
a
whole
great
last book
book.
right here, like
Yeah, right here.
cover book right here.
Right here. You got to set these habits for yourself, because even on the like doing this whole the Vexed brand, the podcast, the YouTube videos, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Instagram, the clothing, the marketing, dude, I'm gonna be honest, 90% of the days I don't want to do it. I'd rather go back to my old ways, sit down, play video games, eat junk food. But I stay on myself. I hit the gym every morning. I go to work. I come home and I'm instantly in my office and I'm working on this shit no matter what, because I've set that habit. If you need to set like a routine of like an environment you need to go to, like I've set it. Like if I were to do this in my room, I would get distracted. But I set it to where I come downstairs into my office every day, so that I am forced to do it, because I have nothing else here down here to distract me. I just have my equipment, my computer, and my fucking vinyl cutter to make clothing, and I sit here and I do it. I force myself to do it, and I'm not allowed to leave this room until I'm done doing what I need to do. I've meditated and I've read at least 1 or 2 chapters out of my book.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, and I bet that's helped you grow a lot faster than motivation ever could.
Absolutely, man. I've only been motivated a handful of times in my life, but
Exactly.
recently I've been disciplined every hour of every day.
And that will take you the furthest. Motivation is hard to come by sometimes, and you just have to accept that you're not always going to be motivated. Life, like the world, is a cold place a lot of the time. Not always, not always. Like it's sunshine and rainbows sometimes. People say it's not all sunshine and rainbows. All it is sometimes. Like life is good. It's not always a cold world, but it is a cold world sometimes. And you got to accept that you're not always going to have motivation. And regardless if you don't have it, you need to do what you need to do.
Absolutely, bro. That's a good note to end off on. I
I agree.
appreciate having you today, man. It's
Hell
good
yeah.
seeing you again. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and got at least something out of it. Take one of our tips, take our life experience, and use it to your own ability. Remember, life is a game. Play it how you want to play it. And we're gonna end on that note. We're gonna have a new episode out here probably next weekend, if not the weekend after. You know, I gotta find guests. I gotta write a script. You know, not a script, but I write an outline just to give you guys a background of this whole thing. But
Hey, and possibly get video figured out too.
absolutely, absolutely, that's definitely a plan in the future. Christmas is coming up. You know, I can you know start building myself a setup for this. We hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next episode and share this with a friend if you found something useful. We'll catch you later, fam.
Uh.